anything you're wearing or you're sitting on or the picture behind you or everything in your room, everything everything is a byproduct of oil, right? Everything. And higher oil contaminates everything because if it wasn't created using oil, which probably was, machinery and everything, electricity, it was shipped using oil. And the higher the price of oil goes, the higher everything gets, and you get price inflation. There's inflation caused by, overproduction and massive production and everyone buying and things going up, or it could be just by the cost inputs going up so high. And I think that it's crazy to think what could happen if this is sustained. Not only that, you got, you mentioned earlier, should I buy food and water? There's nothing wrong with being prepared. You don't have to be a prepper. But you think about the just-in-time nature of things and how long this could go. The major driver for the petrochemicals and the liquid natural gas that comes out of the Gulf, and one of the liquid natural gas refineries was just hit in, I think it was in Oman, or Qatar.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's the major component for fertilizer. And look back over the last couple of years and all the food issues that we had, chicken processing, egg processing, crops in Europe being burnt, all of these things, could it lead to famine outbreaks across the globe? Maybe, who knows? The point I'm getting at is that energy is the most expensive or the most vital, important part of anything, from shipping to production to everything, and depends how long this takes. I remember the Bush administration said it would be, $400 or $500 billion in cost and would be over quick. When it was the war in Iraq, it ended up being 5, 6, 7 trillion. They were off by a factor of 100 by the time it was all over, that'd be 10. But nonetheless, they were way off and in timing, and they always undershoot the cost and overshoot the time frame. So I would say, look, we're already back to the Biden era gasoline prices right now. So yeah, it could be substantial. It really could. And you look at the PPI, I think it came in at an 8% annualized price right now. So we're going back into high levels of inflation. Remember, the CPI misstates inflation. If you look at John Williams of Shadow Stats, he would say real inflation is running 11%, add 11 in front of the number that they tell you. So he'd say real inflation is running about 14%. And how does he get that number? Just measuring it the way they used to measure it before they made all of these changes under Carter and up through Reagan, where, now they have this inflationary agenda. So they have to mask what real inflation is running at. And otherwise things would just break apart if we really knew what inflation was at. But you tell me, is inflation really at 3%? Or when you go out on a Friday night for dinner and have some drinks. I mean, when's the last time you were able to do that at under $100? When I was a kid, $100 seemed like $1 million. Like, I remember being 15 years old and being a bagger at a grocery store. And when someone would pay with $100, if it came to $100, it was like cart was filled up to here. Now you go to a grocery store, get a couple of New York steaks and a box of strawberries, you're already at $100. And so it's like, inflation is something that is to be concerned about. And the longer this goes on and the more disruption we see in oil and gas, it will get much worse. And then, you're going to see releases of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve that Biden already bled down. That will be a Band-Aid over a gaping hole. Let's just hope this is something that isn't protracted. But they were already saying that, bombing this liquid natural gas plant, it could take months or years to get back online. When you start blowing up infrastructure like this, God only knows where it goes. But yeah, inflation is something that I'm concerned about.
Hey, you made it to the end of the clip. That means you're probably enjoying this. And if so, just know that you can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to see the full version of this episode, you can click the link in the description down below. Otherwise, YouTube thinks that you will enjoy this next.